Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Afron Framble, and here's a quick update on fitness and health. At some point, I'd like to discuss food and maybe share a recipe or two, but for this video, I figured it would be good to talk about primary care physicians and how primary care fits into our lives and our experiences. And I'll follow that up with an update on how my fitness journey is going and some tips. So we know our bodies more than anyone. So we really need to be our own advocates, and we kind of need to be our own doctors in a way. Like we need to work with the doctor to make sure that we are getting the best care possible. Only you really know what's going on in your body, and you need to have a primary care physician that takes what you say seriously and is going to be interested in your well-being. So what I like about my primary care physician is that the last time I talked to the nurse about the blood pressure medication I'm on, she said even though it's gone down to a reasonable level while on the medication, I shouldn't be off of it until it went down more. And I've been working at this for a while. Instead of just casting her verdict and being done with it, she asked me, "How do you feel about that?" And she even sounded a bit curious, like she genuinely wanted to know what I thought. And at that point, I was more inclined to take her advice and wait just a little longer before going off the medication. I could have been upset, and I could have been more upset if she just said, "No, you're just staying on it," and not sounding like she cared. And there are a lot of doctors that will do that. So I encourage anyone who feels like they're not being heard to find a primary care physician that will listen to you. Now, another thing I wanted to mention as far as medical health is on the other side of that, it's like a two-edged sword. You can self-diagnose. You need to be your own advocate, but you also can possibly self-diagnose if you're looking at symptoms. Going on WebMD. WebMD can be a very good resource, but it can also be misused. But the thing is, I tend to do the reverse of what many hypochondriacs do. Um, so if it's the reverse, should that be the opposite? Should it be hyperchondriac? I don't know, whatever that is, I try to reason out like the most likely scenario. What do all my symptoms have in common? What should I do safely to test my hypothesis? If it's a small issue like a cold, like cold and flu symptoms, which I rarely get, or if I have some sort of muscle pain or fatigue, I usually go to the most widely recommended treatment. For example, leg cramps and fatigue. Did I just run a mile 2 days in a row and just upping the frequency of my runs? Yes. So I'm probably going to be okay. And I probably just need to stretch. And if it's bad, maybe alternate hot and cold. I had pressure in my chest from the inside, not very sharp, but enough to call it a chest pain technically. Um, but it was in the center of my chest to the right a bit. My heart is on the left. And although I know there are arteries and other things that can be affected that are more serious, my blood pressure now is fairly normal. And I happen to have gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD. So I might have a tendency to have air trapped in my stomach if I eat the wrong thing. And sure enough, a few burps later, I felt fine. Having said that, always consult with your physician if pain is severe or it persists, not to sound like a medication ad. Um, so I guess my main point is just to avoid jumping to the worst possible scenario. You're probably not going to suddenly die of a rare flesh eating bacterial infection if you've been in the house all day, you wash regularly, and you're sticking to your normal diet, and there hasn't been a recall on some kind of chicken that you're eating or something. So, yeah, I mean, with that, we can go to diet, I guess. Now, a quick word regarding diet. I highly recommend adding before subtracting. It's a lot easier to say no to donuts, spare ribs, and milkshakes if you've already eaten a healthy portion of chicken and rice. Also, if you make substitutions, don't try to revamp your whole diet all at once. Doing that, you'll be more likely to crash diet, and then you'll feel bad, and you'll eat more bad food because you're disappointed, and then it'll create a cycle and or continue the cycle that you're already in. Instead, I would pick one side at a time. Be very forgiving of yourself because you want good food to make you feel good. You want to feel good about eating it. And if you're beating yourself up for eating the bad food, that's more likely to make you feel bad. So pick the one side at a time, or start with maybe the main meats. Instead of red meat, eat lean meat, or go vegetarian. Switch to sweet potatoes instead of regular potatoes, and eat more veggies. Eat more veggies. That's the best way to just load up on a bunch of food that you really can't overdo, and fill yourself up on that before you go to anything that's bad for you. And if you want to go with sweets, do um, like a handful, maybe like 10 chocolate chips, dark chocolate chips, or something that has sweetness but is good for you. Maybe some kind of a fruit or something. Um, Now, my greatest challenge with making changes has been cooking the food. Healthy food rarely comes prepackaged, and fresh, healthy food tastes a lot better than processed healthy food. Or like there's some crackers that basically taste like cardboard that I've had, and they were pretty terrible. And I think at one point I tried to eat those with some plain Greek yogurt, and it was like I could have taken a piece of cardboard and ripped some insulation from the wall, and it would have tasted better. Um, if I haven't cooked it and made it convenient, though, I'll either go out without eating until I can make food, like after work, or I'll eat something unhealthy for lunch. And if you're going to skip a meal, it probably shouldn't be breakfast because you need that energy throughout the day. So anyway, after substituting what is bad for what's good, I ended up eating less sugar, less fat, less salt. Carbs are okay. I mean, if you, it's really either carbs or fat and sugar. Um, the I think it's the keto diet that really emphasizes don't ever eat carbs, because then if you can eat as much fat and sugar as you want if you don't have the carbs. Um, sure, but limiting portion sizes works probably better, because it's, you're limiting your calorie intake, and calories in, calories out. Uh, I ended up eating meals like chicken, rice, and broccoli, or turkey, quinoa, and salad. It's amazing what a habit of eating a lean meat will do with a side of whole grain or rice and green vegetables. Um, so, having said that, I want to talk a little bit about exercising. Lastly, I've gotten into running a mile a day, about, and I've been doing this for a little while. Don't be too impressed. I started off at doing a jogging motion at walking pace, but today I ran a little faster than I have yet this spring. So I've gone from old man jogging at walking pace to probably something close to maybe a 10 or 11-minute mile, which is, that's not bad. And as long as you are doing the motion of, running, and you're doing like a whole mile, you can say that you've jogged a mile. It's not, there's no limit to saying, well, this is walking and this is running. Bouncing on your feet is jogging as you're going the whole mile. I know it's great to get others to work out with you. I love taking walks with my mom, but our schedules rarely coincide. While we still get together on the occasional weekend to walk down the street to the park by our house, I have my own schedule, and I can't let that uh, sway one way or the other. I mean, I can change things in my own schedule, but I can't let that affect the way that I want to work out. I do have to be flexible for changes in my own schedule, but I have to plan ahead. Tomorrow I'm meeting with friends, so instead of running after work, I'm going to try to run in the morning. Try to run in the morning. No promises, because I promised myself to run in the morning for the past 2 days and I couldn't drag myself out of bed. Or at least when you can trick yourself into driving to the park and just going for a walk. I like to life hack myself and say, I'm just going to go to the park and just going to walk. And then as I'm walking, I'll say, maybe I'll just jog a little bit. And before you know it, I will have a mile behind me. So I hope this video has provided some helpful hints. I hope that someone can be motivated by this. So if you did get something out of this, please leave a comment, and thank you for watching.